Thank you for the question from earlier today about grief and nightmares. So I want to expand a little bit about this. I guess it's not as uncommon as one would think. In other words, it is common. When you have a loss of a family member, a loved one, doesn't matter if it's a human or a pet, a friend, acquaintance, when the person passes and it's traumatic, unexpected, or expected but sudden. And I mean traumatic for the person or the animal or whoever it is that has passed. If their passing was not calm, but traumatic. It is very common for the person in grief to then have traumatic nightmares. It's called post-traumatic PTSD. That is very common. And it is a really important identification in grief because it's one of the biggest signals of PTSD. And you don't have to be, there's so much misconception and so much misinformation about PTSD. You don't have to be a soldier to have PTSD. There are so many things that happen in life that are traumatic, that change your life irrevocably. And if those things are traumatic, trauma, there's a very, very good likelihood that you will have symptoms of post-traumatic disorder, PTSD. And one of the biggest signs of that is nightmares. So if you're in the process of grieving, whomever you were grieving for, or if it's a pet, a friend, an acquaintance, whomever or whatever, if they are a loved one, and you start developing nightmares, you really need to get some counseling, because left unchecked, it's a proven fact that these then become destructive to you, the person who is grieving. And the best example of this, the very best example of this that we see day in and day out are men and women returning from war. That is a direct correlation that you can see and you can understand, right? They've gone through horrible trauma. Depending on what kind of trauma they went through, it could be very, very severe PTSD. But any of it, any kind of it, is something that you should not just ignore, that you should not just say, okay, I can handle it on your own. Some people are skilled enough to do it, but most people are not. And that's just being very, very honest. And it's okay to say, I can't handle it on my own. Just like in anything that we do in life. Some people grieve differently, some people handle stress differently, relationship stress differently. I mean, all the stresses that we have in our lives, everyone handles those in their own manner, in their own time, at their own schedule. Doesn't mean that how I do it is wrong or how you do it is wrong. It's just how you as an individual manages it and cope. And some people have a stronger ability to do that independently. The averages show, though, that most people with PTSD, nightmares that are a sign of PTSD during the grieving process, need to get help. And that's okay. So if you are, go get help. It's okay. It doesn't mean you are any less of a person. It just means at this particular thing with this particular situation, it's okay to know that you need some help. Whoever it is, whether it's a counselor, a coworker, it could be just a loved one to talk through. It's just important to recognize it and then take the steps that you need to get it under control. Because left unchecked, it's very, very destructive. And where we see that significantly and we see examples of leaving it unchecked a lot is with the returned soldiers that come back from wherever they've come from and they have significant PTSD. This is why one of the most important therapies for this is working with animals. So it makes sense, right? If you're grieving an animal, why would you not have PTSD, right? Because there's such an integral part of helping you recover from it. So if you have the loss on top of it, then you can see how it can become this vicious cycle. And left unchecked, it can get into other areas of your life too, and you don't want that. You want to be able to recognize it, address it, and try to move on with it. I personally can tell you the number of and frequency of nightmares is dramatically less than when I wasn't addressing it. Significantly different. Hope that helps. If it doesn't, let me know again, and I will try to maybe find some documentation that I can send to you directly. So let me know. Thanks for asking.